Paul, what is the process of your book from the point that you outline it till a reader can read it? What steps does it go through?
With the exception of the Syriac stories, all of my books are part of series. And the first part is coming up with the concept for series. For example, I just finished outlining a new 8-book series. I didn't intend it to necessarily be 8 books from the beginning, but I had a certain story I wanted to tell, and I broke it down, and it ended up being 8 books. The story fit into that category nicely. And that will be a sequel of sorts to The Frozen Flame, because this one will be done very shortly. The last book is in the final editing process. So once I've got that outline, then of course I have to break down individual books, come up with a plot outline. At least that's my process, because I have to know where the story's going, what's going to happen during the story, and there are important elements to introduce that are going to be important later on in the series, as well as in each individual book as well.
So step 1 is outlining. What's step 2?
The writing.
Okay.
So I use a program called Scrivener, and I start off by creating all the chapter headings, which make, in Scrivener you have what are called folders, and each folder is a chapter. Then I start writing the actual prose, and that's based on the outline I have, although the outline is more of a guideline.
How long does it take you to write a book?
I generally average about 3,000 words a day. So if you look at this series, it's approximately 100,000 words per book. That's the objective when I start writing. And so that would be...
about 2 months with occasional day off.
Yeah, 2 months. And then there's also time in there to create maps and do various other things that are required as well.
So Heir of the Crown would be about 2.5 months, and Warrior Prince usually ends up being about 3.5. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, it's a heftier book. Also, Power Ascending is a little tougher to write because it's told from a single point of view. So you don't get the view of the bad guys, for example. So you kind of have to manipulate the story so that the characters discover this as they go, which is more challenging from a writing perspective, but it gives the books a different flavor as well.
Okay. So step 2 is writing it. What's step 3?
Editing, which I pass on to you.
Now, we edit a little bit different than the average author, don't we?
Yes, so what happens is most of my books use a 3-act structure, except for the Mercerian Tales. And as I finish each act, I'll take a break, read through the act that I've completed, pass it on to you, and then you go through several edits, including one for the storyline. You'll do one for spelling, grammar, what do we call it, structural edit, I guess is the word I'm looking for. And even after that, we do, let's see, do we do the read? We do the read through
before it goes to another editor.
Right, so we have an outside editor that does like a final edit on it, but we will do a read through where we both sit there and I'll read it out loud, and then we pick up anything that doesn't quite sound right or that needs to be tweaked a little bit.
Yeah, and then when it goes to the editor, they find very little.
Yep, then it comes back, the final things are all put into place, and then you compile it into a program called...
Vellum.
Vellum, there we go.
But when it comes back from editing, it also goes to beta readers.
Yes.
And then once it's compiled and ready to go, it gets sent to ARC readers.
Yes, so beta readers are there to give us any little things that we might have missed, whether that's spelling errors, grammar errors, or maybe even a plot error.
Yeah, they're more about how does the story flow than catching the little errors like that. That's why we have an editor.
Yeah. And then the ARC readers get the final copy, if you like. That's the advanced reader copies. And we have a number of people that perform that service for us.
Over 125.
Yeah, so that'll be essentially as close to the final product as we can get, although sometimes you still find a few things at the end there.
Every book ever written always has a typo in it.
Even ones from major publishers.
Yeah. So is everything done once it's released?
Oh, no. Then we have to do videos like this. And promote it, of course. For example, when Cataclysm comes out for The Frozen Flame, we're going to be putting the first 2 books up for free to entice readers into the series.
Shh! Spoilers,
Paul.
Paul.
One's supposed to say that.